Just kidding, I don't kill myself. Let's see what happens here as I push into the house. Captain, I actually died to a fallen trip mine. Server issues halt me from beginning the 4th mission, Requiem. A neat little pop-up informs me that some people did not acquire the prismatic subclass the first time around and will have to replay the mission. Rebozos. I'm finally able to begin after 10 minutes of constant contacting Destiny 2 server issue. Pop-ups pop up. We actually loaded in. Holy shit, let's go. I like how the missions all connect to each other in location too. Like we have the space and we're moving on from the space. After loading in, I take care of a bunch of trash mobs as Ikora lets us know that they belong to the House Salvation.
We believe this much in the witness's plan? The witness is offering them exactly what they want, an end to suffering.
We approach the barrier and take a look at the statue inside.
Forces are likely nearby. Let's see if we can get the jump up. Maybe they have a key.
Glyphtouched. After destroying the spike, we gain the buff of becoming Glyphtouched. We'll see where it leads us after I take care of some more enemies inside this little cave. We're gonna ignore the fact that I died here. I'm gonna take care of this resonant order real quick from the high ground. And Glyphtouched allows us to take note of this little witness symbol. Returning to the barrier, we see a couple of symbols on the ground. And I walk onto the wrong one. Good job, DuderIQ. You know, that's definitely me testing what would happen if I got the incorrect one. So regaining the Glyphtouched buff. Gonna go ahead and take care of the warder again. And I almost messed up and went to the wrong glyph second time around, but that would have been by accident, unlike the more personal time the first time around. We gotta take a look at the statue proper this time. Interesting. Wait, is this the veiled figure statue? Oh my god, it is.
That statue
Sobs unintelligibly according to the subtitles. Interesting.
I finally got a Vanguard signal. You're welcome.
Zavala needs to be our priority. Pass the telemetry through.
So while the statue is of note, Zavala is definitely of a higher priority. We'll return to the statue after we figure out what Zavala is up to. Gonna take care of some more enemies here. Almost get pushed out. These fire shield sharks are really annoying. Sharks, I said sharks, but you know what? They are sharks. Fuck it, they're sharks. The power of freezing them though. A massive symbol on the wall in front of us blocks our way. Another spike is present, so I am not going to be too surprised if we shoot the spike, gain the Glyphtouched buff, and then have to repeat the mechanic. Wow, that's exactly what happens? No way. It's crazy. I do appreciate the introduction of mechanics in these missions. And not only that, but the mechanic being introduced has changed every time, right? Because now this Glyphtouched mechanic is different from the motes and keys of light that were introduced in the previous mission that had to do with Ikora. And in the first mission, we had, you know, the little orbs of darkness and light. And, you know, they've all differed so far, which is actually pretty interesting. Like mechanically, you know, what they accomplish is pretty much the same, but the fact that they went through the effort of, you know, redressing them and reskinning them into a little bit different flavors of what they are supposed to do really makes that much of a difference. It's also technically testing, you know, different aspects of your ability and skill set, because not only do you have to fight and deal with a bunch of enemies. Oh my god, that Weaver pull was crazy. But yeah, see, not only do you have to deal with fighting a bunch of enemies, but you also have to get the glyph, remember what the glyph is, and, you know, I say and, you know, like I was going anywhere, but it's mainly the fact that you just have to remember what the glyph is while dealing with enemies. So it's testing your memory along with your ability to deal with enemies. Man, dude, look at that pull. It's actually disgusting. The pull is disgusting. I'm gonna take care of the omen of the witness real quick. Boom. And the wall in front of us shrinks down. Sort of golden spiral energy going on. Oh, wait, that was fucking sick. Wait, that was a sick stone passageway because we had all the hands of the witness clawing out to reach the traveler. See, the good thing about the witness is like that's going on. The animation for this wall collapsing down is a little bit too hard as the symbol floats up, representative of the traveler floating away, as the hands of the witness sink down into the ground, representing the loss of hold on the traveler. Like, I have no idea why this one transition into locations went unbelievably hard, but wow, it looked pretty epic. I really appreciate the symbolism that went into it as well. Pretty nice. Obviously, you know, very Avengers inspired general vibes with Endgame and whatnot, but like the NOs, they actually made the witness have, like, you know,
Not a war.
a philosophy and perspective that can be understood, even if it is kind of fucking out there. And it's like, yeah, okay, we're the bad guy, but
Kate asked Ikora, you know, what Zavala was like upon his death, but Zavala was just completely closed in by himself, which is just how some people deal with grief, you know, just lock yourself in. Anyways, this area is a nice little cave, and if you know what is coming up, you will probably know that this might arguably be the most difficult section in this campaign, which is not knowledge I was privy to the first time around. Here I am just, you know, just chilling around, jumping in this electrocuted pool for no reason. I like, thank you, finally get out. Yes, use your waveframe against some bats. I've switched back to the Verglas curve as well for some reason. I don't know why I did that, but you know, maybe I was not feeling the call, mainly because I was not using the call too much. I was mainly using TQs, but, you know, taking care of these enemies reveals a glyph. Shooting the glyph restricts our light. And here we go. We have to deal with the Glyphtouched mechanic once more. You know, I push in with Prismatic, I take care of all the enemies out here, and I kill myself. Wow. Just kidding. I don't kill myself. Let's see what happens here as I push into the house captain. I actually died to a fallen trip mine, which I didn't see. Let me look for the trip mine real closely. Just gonna spam pause, make sure I'm looking for that trip mine, looking for a trip mine. Where is it? 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 Oh, it was not there. It was not there. It spawned in the second I died, for sure. Unless you want to count the glowing red dot as me activating it, but I was nowhere near that one. So that one definitely was not what triggered. The trip mine definitely spawned on top of me, which is not a sign that things are gonna go well if I'm dying that early on to stuff I'm not even aware of. Wow, the frost effect really trolling me here, but it doesn't really matter how this encounter goes until I get my light restricted. With Glyphtouched, going to go ahead and push back into this area, take care of the warders. All right, to one warder down. I guess I'm just going to go ahead and completely ignore these servitors as I run to the opposite side, because I'm like, all right, well, that's one glyph down. I don't know why I pushed myself into a corner, just some exploding sharks, getting pushed in, and I just end up dying. Wow. All right, as I kill the warder the third time around, I don't rush through to the opposite side, and I'm able to take note of all the traps that litter the place. Yes, it's the difficulty of this section is not the enemies. Well, arguably, I guess you could consider it the enemies, but it is these stupid ass tripwires that occupy the space and prevent you from moving up in any sort of manner. Like they're just everywhere. All these traps littering the ground. Like, I suppose that, you know, if I was smart, I would just, you know, jump over everything. But, you know, I am a little bit worried about, you know, trying not to die. You know, this is still legendary difficulty. I still can take damage from the enemies. I'm not invincible, especially since I don't have I don't know what I don't have. I don't have anything. That's all I don't have. Struggling to take out these little traps, but, you know, slow and steady is probably, I mean, you know, it's probably how I'm going to win this. These homing sharks are really annoying, but good thing I can freeze them. Just have to be careful not to die to them while I'm not paying attention. All right, Nova Bomb the warder, no problem. At transit, quick reload, hit up with a nade, and of course, I died to a trip mine that is there in the very corner. I'm going to slow it down. If you look while I'm turning around, yes, I'm saying yes, like I'm even seeing where it is, but I see but I think that's actually just the red dot of the laser, right? Like, no, is it spawning in the very second I'm crossing over? I think that's what's happening here. I think once again, the trip mine spawned in exactly as I cross my way over, because I'm looking at the red, because if you look at the wall to my right, the little pillar, you see a little red light, which is where I assume the trip mine line is. And it wasn't there until the very second I cross it. So I ended up dying to the trip mine immediately the second it spawns in once again. So, you know, it's pretty cool. Very cool, actually. It's, you know, very nice dying to invisible spawning trip mines. Here, I'm arguing Yeah, wow. Of course I died to it. I was gonna say, here I'm arguably playing too safe. And because I'm playing too safe with the trip mines, I die. Yes, so I died a few more times before that, and I'll probably die a few more times after that, but it's to the trip mines, and you know, there's not really anything for me to say or analyze about the situation because it's not really like any enemy I'm struggling against or any specific part of the encounter aside from after killing the warders and having to deal with the trip mines specifically. Like the fact that this is a closed off cave area and there's just so many trip mines that basically insta-kill you makes it more annoying than fun, to be honest. Apparently, you can just Nova bomb yourself. Today I learned. I'm just Nova bombing myself into I just threw a Nova bomb directly into the wall, and it can blow up and do damage. Wow, I had no idea you can Nova bomb yourself. That's crazy. So the only real enemy giving me any sort of problem are specifically the fire shielded shanks, especially the exploding ones. They were in specific annoying for me to deal with because waveframe launchers just bounce off of them, and the Verglas curve is not, you know, tuned to deal with them because, you know, it's a stasis weapon. So I went ahead and switched to TQs just to deal with the annoyance that are these shanks with the fire shields specifically. Like it is specifically the shielded ones that were proving any sort of trouble to me while I try to navigate the area while not dying to the trip mines. I don't think TQs or the call are any better to deal with any of these enemies in this case because most of my damage being done is through my edge transit onto the warders anyways, right? And I'm using prismatic to just, you know, do this. All right, both of the warders are down. I know both of the symbols, and I just have to deal with just have to nullify the glyphs, and I have to deal with even more trim mines. Wow, how cool. I see the Void Slash and, you know, here are the Tormentor, which I now realize is an imprint of Nezarec. Pretty annoying that there is no box meter to inform me of that, but I'm going to go ahead and toss in a Nova Bomb to do a massive amount of damage. Wow, that is crazy. But somehow it still suppressed me. But I went ahead and did half of its total health already, which is pretty good. You know, as long as I waste enough time to get a second Nova Bomb, it's pretty much guaranteed dead. But the annoying part is that there is now a bunch of trip mines I have to constantly avoid, while also avoiding the imprint of Nezarec, while trying to deal damage to it with my Edge Transit and Call, which are not entirely weapons that are suited to doing such a task. You know, I've noted that Tormentors have been problematic enemies for me to deal with, specifically because I do not know how to deal with Blast Immunity at this current point in time and require a precision weapon that I do not have. Or technically I do have, but it's like it would require me to switch to one. And you know, I can't exactly do that when a Tormentor is chasing me. Specifically, not even a Tormentor, an Imprint. It's even stronger. TQs is honestly not terrible for doing a little bit of chip damage in between though. Although I do wonder if like I'm better off sticking with the Call, but the Tormentor ends up catching me and sucks me off. Somehow I don't die to it. That's a little bit crazy. So I was max HP. That's actually what happened there. I thought I took a little bit of damage beforehand, but no, if I did, I would have died for sure. But somehow I managed to get sucked and not die. I also managed to then heal up immediately because the imprint is getting a little bit trolled by my Leak Watcher. Just doing a little bit of weaving and dodging here. The imprint is honestly pretty low. I'm probably not going to get my super back in time, but I don't think I even need my super to kill it. I get suppressed by a little bit of weird pathing by me and the Tormentor colliding there. Just doing a little bit of running around. Just that's it. I'm just running in circles, running and jumping, avoiding the Tormentor. That's all I can do because I'm trying not to die. Doing damage is way less important to me at this point in time. It's literally all about survival, especially not dying to trip mines. Luckily, I was playing pretty slow and I destroyed a bunch of the trip mines purposefully that I thought would be troublesome, because, you know, they were the ones specifically blocking my way. Good thing I know how to crouch and slide and, you know, dodge that way. Luckily, my turrets are doing enough to freeze the imprint over and over again. I got way too close to the edge transit there, but I take care of the imprint of Nezarec my first time around, actually. Wow, pretty good. I was afraid that, you know, I didn't make note that that Tormentor fight was the hardest one thus far, which is probably true. And that's mainly because of the pressure of what failing that fight means. And that means having to go through all the tripwires again. All right, for our rewards, we get Helion, a solar aspect, which is basically our solar buddy. So as opposed to a Bleak Watcher cold turret, I can get a solar motor fire buddy. Wow. All right, we encounter another Witness Blight. The shatter effect, pretty nice. The fractalization is pretty intense. We're pulled in, pretty harshly. It's definitely a strong sucking force as the body horror section continues by manifesting in some very odd looking locations that are completely distinct from anything else in the Traveler.
I wish it, okay, honestly, I was gonna say I wish it was more, but maybe I don't, because using them as like accents is adding to weakness.
For leadership. But he's made fractured by his doubts. Push him to fight the inevitable, and he will break. Let us lift the weight of suffering from his shoulders.
It does kind of. I literally have to move like 1 meter more forward. Like glass shattering particle effects on our screen is also interesting.
Cost.
Oh yeah, I didn't say it, but we saw the veiled statue red.
His reward is
Looks pretty good. Headstones.
nothing to give.
Wait, they'll at least let me know that the sound is completely muffled.
When fallen, took his son's life. The Traveler will not return it. But we can. With its light, we can do anything. And we ask for nothing in exchange. He said no. Ah. At last, his ghost speaks. Taj.
You need to leave. It's not safe.
As we travel through the Witness's Blight, we take note of how the Witness could possibly tempt Zavala. Specifically, it seems like the Witness is discussing bringing back Zavala's son with the power of the light, which is something the Traveler refused to do. In fact, the Traveler constantly refuses to do anything directly for Zavala, even though we are now here inside the Traveler itself. It still does nothing, being completely silenced, as the Witness states by referring to Zavala's reward and devotion to the Traveler, being met with silence. His God has nothing to give, God obviously being Traveler, and, this is directly referring to the concept of fate and how Zavala was always someone that believed a lot in the Traveler. And even though Zavala has constantly been super devout and put all his faith into the Traveler, where has that led him and what has that resulted in? This is a concept that Ikora also touched in the previous mission, which, funnily enough, Ikora is now saying that maybe she needs to be more like Zavala in this instance, while the Witness is trying to tempt Zavala away from the Traveler entirety. In his entirety, which is an interesting angle to take. Will Zavala fall into the temptation of the Witness? Who knows?
That was cool. Where we saw Commander Zavala, the thing in the ghost. That's fucking sick. The smoke from the chimney being the faces, that is cool. This is one cottage up here. This is sick. This is cool. This is cool for me.
With his wife and son, isn't it?
Oh.
The Witness wants to wear him down to nothing, but he's still standing strong. Too stubborn to retreat.
The emotional temptation and trials the Witness wishes to put Zavala through in order to tempt him to the dark side, for, a better lack of phrasing, is displayed by the house Zavala and his son and wife presumably lived in. And we can take note of the Witness's corruption by the smoke billowing out from the chimney being made of a bunch of faces. That's obviously displaying the Witness's influence among the location. So, us defending his house alongside Zavala is, definitely symbolizing the struggle Zavala is going through mentally. So I really appreciate the physical representation of this quite abstract idea. Here I take note of the rally banner not giving us full transcendence, as in it does not recharge our darkness or light meters, which is a little weird. I have no idea why it does not. Zavala sounding a little bit different, I can tell immediately as he backs up. Boom. For some reason, we get a turn back freeze message as Zavala puts down the tiniest barrier of all time as he's guarding a grave. There's no way. I'm pretty sure Titans have way larger barriers. I'm pretty sure I've straight up seen like domes in the Crucible at some point. So I have no idea what Zavala is doing here with the world's smallest barrier. Like, bro, it's in the floor. Like, is that what's happening here? Is that what's happening with his barrier? It's clipping into the floor. In any case, this rather large clearing has us defend against the Fallen. Of course, there's a couple of prismatic shielded enemies that we need to take care of. I have no idea why I just decided to Nova Bomb like some trash mob, but you know, fuck it. See, the Pillar of Stillness appears in, you know, maybe you want to save your Nova Bomb for this instance. You don't even have Transcendence, so, you know, it's a little bit of trolling. So not great management of my abilities right there. That could end up leading to disastrous results for me. So I hope it does not. Gonna go ahead and drop some turrets though. Luckily, this area is incredibly open. And in open areas, there's also a lot of room for cover usually. But the trade-off is, you know, the distance of everything. So certain weapons will just be worse. But, you know, I am a bow user, so being a little bit further away from my enemy is not the biggest of problems. The Pillar of Stillness is a giant brig. I don't know if I've encountered any other giant brigs. Unfortunately, there is a immunity. I say unfortunately, but I mean, it doesn't have to be unfortunately because, you know, it's not like there's that much health anyways. I kind of like, I don't know. Do I prefer having less health with bosses and being forced to engage with the mechanic? Or do I prefer more health and if you push through the health, you don't have to do mechanics? I mean, it depends, you know? I'm like, there's not really one. It's not even like there was a mechanic. It was like, oh yeah, the pillar teleports to a different location and you see and defeat some more mobs. So it's like, you know, it's fairly simple. Like in terms of, you know, boss fights, this is pretty straightforward, right? I don't know why I'm running towards the brig and oh my God, I get pushed off. Oh my, wow. That could have ended terribly, but let me look at how far it actually knocked me out. That's actually halfway across the entire map. Luckily, you know, I didn't even take any fall damage. So I assume that's I landed in a little bit of water, which is good. Thanks for breaking my fall. But I also thought, you know, perhaps for a moment that, you know, landing that far out would have killed us, but luckily it does not. My Transcendent nade was way too shallow of a throw. The brig is indeed much further than I realized, although I do think that nade will hit it. I need to take care of the rest of the ads though, because, you know, the immunity shield is still up, so I have no idea what the thought process there was. All right, a Tenant of Stillness is the enemy that I presumably need to defeat in order to remove the immunity shield. Not too terrible of an enemy, although, you know, of course, the the strand pull is incredibly annoying. I'm almost dying to this. I'm trolling in this fight. That's because I have no ammo left in my Apex Predator, and I have an Apex Predator for some reason, and I die to the Tenant of Stillness. Wow. Let's see. I popped my Nova Bomb. Yeah, so I did kill it. If I used my Nova Bomb even like a second earlier, well, it's not like I had a second. If I used it right there, it would have died probably before I used the strand thing. Wow, so the damage output on these weavers, especially the powered up ones, is a little insane because that's one hit of the strand. I guess if each of them did their own separate damage, because I was at half health, so I was regaining health, so yeah, it's just rather unfortunate that the strand vortexes are homing to such a strong degree, and that, you know, I got hit by a follow-up attack instantly. Probably avoidable. I mean, it's definitely avoidable. I don't think I should have pushed up here. I think the problem was me pushing up like this.
Oh, no heavy.
I'm here. I'm just shooting at it with the call, and then I get pushed out of my rift, right? So I get pushed out of my rift and I turn around and I try to Nova Bomb it, and it's just bad timing, right? Yeah, because it sent out an attack before I got the Nova Bomb. If I sent out the Nova Bomb slightly earlier, I would have killed it before it sent out a second attack. And in that case, I would have not died. Just in terms of how I handled this fight, at this moment, I definitely should have tried to find cover instantly, right? That's what I was doing. I definitely should have just hid behind the rock. Because I hid behind the rock, I would not have gotten hit by the follow-up attack.
Oh my God.
Presumably, even if I got hit by the stasis thing, I would have been stuck behind the rock and not had to get hit directly, which might have allowed me to not die. I am much more aware the second time around. I just go ahead and Nova Bomb the Tenant of Stillness immediately the second time around. I also did not bother wasting a Nova Bomb to do no damage at the start of the encounter. So all I have to do now is fight off against the Brig and heal the rest of its health, which I don't think is too much of a problem. So I'm not sure why I even switched to the Apex Predator for this fight instead of just using my Edge Transit, but here we are. TQ's the call.
I think that's the last of them.
And that what allows me to take care of the final Brig.
I mean, I've not faced them in the campaign or anything.
Just give me a moment to say goodbye.
Nice.
Zavala needs a
I mean, it's good that they
final
use the
moment
field,
to say goodbye.
it seems like- I'm sure the-
Unfortunately, because Destiny is having server issues, and this is where they ended up culminating into the worst they've ever been. And in turn, I get kicked out into orbit before the cutscene is able to play. So I was not able to see the cutscene in game. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm stuck here for a long period of time, just here with Zavala and Ikora just chilling without having seen the cutscene. So instead, I will go ahead and present the cutscene.
I used to think I'd give anything to bring you back. But when the witness offered me an eternity here with you, with our son, I know you understand why I refused. There are people who still need me. Soon. Safi. I'm sorry.
Eyes up, Commander.
It's a lie. The witness shows us what it thinks we want.
And what has the Traveler shown me?
We should go.
I know. I loved them too.
I don't know how you're here. But
Yeah, me too, big guy. Me too.
And I thought we lost her when her ship went down. But she's tougher than that. She soldiered on.
Losing Amanda was like losing you all over again. I'm done burying my friends.
Life isn't about holding on forever. I mean, I was gone, mourned, at peace, and now I'm here, opening old wounds, filling them with salt. And eventually, you have to let go.
Coming together was hard for everyone. I thought it would feel right having the Vanguard back together, but Tarj told me that Zavala had forgiven himself for what happened to his family, but the witness made him relive losing them. And it showed him what it would be like to have them back. It must have taken everything for the commander to refuse that offer. My Cora has concerns about his mental state. She's going to check in with him while the rest of us push closer to the witness's monolith. Time to do some trailblazing, Guardian.
You know, the value of family is something most people value incredibly dearly. In fact, that tends to be, you know, the most motivating factor for the majority amount of people. So giving up being with his lost son and wife must have been incredibly difficult for Zavala to turn down. But Zavala is the commander of the Vanguard, and it is up to him to have the responsibility and wherewithal to make the most difficult of choices, and thus he was able to turn down such an offer, and is now putting all his efforts into, keeping himself sane, right? You know, it's pretty annoying that the witness is showing him and offering him all the stuff, everything that Zavala basically wants, while the Traveler is silent, although that is also in line with the thematic leanings of this campaign and series. You know, it's not up for the Traveler to make our destiny. The Traveler provided Zavala with his ghost, and now with them together, it's up to Zavala to make his own destiny. And unfortunately, sometimes that destiny is not exactly what we want to see, but it is up to us to make the best out of the situation we are dealt. All right, a radio message from Cade. Goes ahead and tune into that.
Look, you can ignore me if you want. I would, but you should know I'm holding against you. Come on, Zavala's supposed to be the strong, silent one. You're supposed to be, I don't know, I haven't figured you out yet, now that I think about it. What do you want, Cade? I want to talk about Amanda.
What are we supposed to be?
She was a ray of sunshine on a cloudy day, but she was also the biggest pain in the ass I'd ever met. Growing up a kid, she tore the engine out of my Sparrow when she was 12. I was furious. Almost got her booted out of the tower until I noticed she disconnected everything clean. She'd been stealing tools, manuals, whatever she could get her hands on. She practiced on scrap junk ships and junk Sparrows. Guess that's something with my right. Boy, she was brilliant. I told Zavala, got her a job in the hangar, and I watched her grow up. I'm sorry. No, don't apologize. Now, just listen to what I'm trying to tell you. Amanda lived a damn good life exactly the way she wanted to. She went out being a hero. All those make stupid choices and die stupid deaths. Will you at least let me be sorry about that? Shut up. Life ain't about drawing out the little part. It's about making what you do while you're alive matter. So grow a spine and make her proud.
All right, Cade renders my commentary completely pointless by stating exactly what I did, except, a little bit more elegantly, since I'm just being quite blunt in what the meaning of everything is, while Cade is wrapping it up in a neat little story and message of Amanda's death, because even though I have no idea who Amanda was, really, he's still able to make a greater message out of her death. And to the people that did know her, and like Zavala or the players that cared more about her character, I'm sure that, this was a nice message to wrap up her death with. And with the message of it being up to us to make our own choices and destiny, we end the 4th mission.